Hello, Peter. It's Bob. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, all right. First of all, let's cut to the chase. Pronounce like I'm a Stauffer, not a Stauffer. Give me the proper pronunciation on your last name. Is it Aubry or Aubry?
Yeah, it's Aubry, but again, certainly don't have a problem with obliques. That's the French way with my grandfather, so either or works.
Either or ends up working. Well, I'll probably only screw it up about 263 times over the next, hopefully, several seasons. And I'd be remiss.
No, Aubry's good.
All right,
good.
And I do want to make this point. I did Dustin Schwartz's games at the University of Alberta. I've known Dustin a long time. The Oilers had some successful years. Dustin had 7 head coaches to work with. These jobs are hard to get. I just want to wish Dustin the best of luck. That said, Peter, congratulations on getting the job here. And you maybe tell our listeners sort of, because there's an interesting cross connection to, ironically enough, the University of Alberta Golden Bears program, the one that Chris Knobloch played at. Mike Gabinet is currently the head coach at Nebraska Omaha, and you worked with Mike the last couple of years. How'd that go?
Yeah, no, it was great. I was really fortunate to be there. A really good time. We went to the NCAA tournament one year. I got to coach a couple of guys who played in the NHL this year, actually both with Vancouver, with Victor Mancini and Ty Mueller. And then really fortunate with our goalie, Simon Latkozy. He had a big-time year for us last year. So, and then working with Gabs and his staff there, Dave and Bennett. Wonderful people and very grateful for the opportunity that I had with them the last 2 seasons.
So, Peter, were you solely the goalies, or did you coach other aspects of the team as well?
You know, the college jobs are, quite demanding, so we all did a little bit of everything there. I'd certainly say the goaltending was my main priority, but outside of that, probably a lot of focus on the defensive side of the puck.
Yeah. And of note, and it is tied because I think we're going to have Ian Herberts on, the head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears, later on, and he was an Oilers assistant at one time. He's going to join us at some point this summer. The Bears have taken a substantive hit with what thought by many as the best recruiting class in the country over the last year, and it was Nebraska Omaha. When you were still there, did you guys officially put out the commitment of the 4 kids that were coming from the U of A that were going to UNO? Did that end up going out to the public, or is that? I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that is out there.
Okay.
And obviously with the major changing in the landscape of NCAA rules, there again a lot of changes, a lot of new avenues for college recruiting. And to be quite frank, University of Alberta has been an outstanding program, and fortunately in Nebraska, we were able to be the beneficiary of that and beat out some other programs to get those wonderful players to join the team in Omaha.
Yeah, Marc Lajoie, who had a 58-point season with the Edmonton Oil Kings, went to the Oilers rookie camp last year. Aiden Dilla Gorjandier, I mispronounce that name all the time. You think Aubry's hard. And he's a defenseman that had a 70-point season with the Saskatoon Blades in the WHL. And then Brett Hyland and Sean Shergill, a couple NHL drafted forwards, also heading to Nebraska Omaha. But for the purposes of this show, Oilers Now, and your opportunity in Edmonton to coach the goalies. You've worked in the Chicago organization for a number of years as well. From your perspective, how does a guy graduate from being a goaltender to a goalie coach? And what are the sort of reoccurring themes you've seen in terms of goalie development over the course of, say, the last 7 to 10 years?
Well, I guess even before that, just the whole human side. These guys are people before they're athletes, and I think they're athletes before they're goalies. So I think that's a big part of it, at least for my approach, or when you say last 7 to 10 years, something that I've learned and really put a focus on.
There we go. I thought we had a power hit. The Oilers have 6 goaltenders, 26 or under. Peter, you're going to be primarily working with the guys in the NHL, which is Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. Kelly Gard remains as the goalie coach down in the farm. I'm going to assume you've already reached out and had conversations with both Stuart and with Calvin?
You bet.
How do they go without sharing too much information?
Yeah, Yeah, awesome. Both super guys. Really enjoyed those. Yeah, we've done a couple of Zooms as well with Stuart, and I think that's been. We've really gelled and meshed well in this early start of things. And then, Calvin, he was great. You could totally see, his reputation precedes him. And, just his veteran approach to the game. So, no, all that's been really good. And then, you mentioned Kelly Gard. Certainly have had conversations with Kelly and Jeff Saleko as well on the goaltending side.
Well, you brought Jeff into the mix, and I think that's a great – we've had a lot of people reach out, and you knew this question was going to be coming, about do the Edmonton Oilers need a department of goaltending. We used to have Kevin Weeks on the show on a regular basis. He was talking about this, 3 or 4 years ago. I think this was part of his pitch to get in with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brian Burke ended up beating him out for the job at that time. Because right now Saleko's kind of involved in drafting the goalies. Gard is the guy that coaches the goalies on the farm. We used to have a guy named Sylvain Rodrigue, who I'm sure probably merited consideration for the position that you ultimately got. And then you're going to be in the NHL. So do you envision working as a trio together in terms of trying to get the best out of the respective Oilers goaltenders in their organization?
Yeah, I would certainly expect that. I mean, I'd like to think we're all good guys. We all get along. We've known each other from the past as well. So I think a real benefit is that, and I guess things move at the speed of trust and whatnot. So I already have good communication with those guys going into the job. So certainly organizationally, I think that'll be a benefit.
How much of the position is technical versus mental?
That's a great question. I suppose it's probably different for each goaltender. I certainly think the mental aspect starts everything. Creating your environment for going to step out onto the ice and perform. I would say it's they certainly go hand in hand, but the recipe for each guy is going to be different.
All right. There was a time I used to have a guy named Lyle Mast occasionally on the show. He was big into puck tracking, minimal body movement, maybe being less reliant on athleticism and being more composed in net. And I think that the counterintuitive argument to that was that maybe the angle play wasn't great. The natural athleticism, was less reliant. So where are you at it on the actual technical side? Are you a faithful student to one, like the Allaire school in terms of goaltending, or how would you sort of assess that?
No, that's a lot there. And so far as technical bits, the Allairs are fantastic. I mean, Ian Clark's certainly been one of the best guys out there, and there's certainly been probably others that I'm not mentioning here. I think the technical bit, I don't know, maybe it was the first part that really drew me to being a goaltending coach. I guess even when I was still playing, certainly when I was playing, I felt, oh wow, I do want to get into coaching, and I guess probably a good thing. Felt I was probably going to be a better coach than player. So the technical part, I think, is what attracted me to it. But then again, just expanding from that and realizing, okay, you have the technical part, you have the goaltending part, but that just all happens within the game of hockey. And so then, seeking to, when you mentioned my role in Omaha, just understanding the game better. I think I've prided myself through my whole coaching career is understanding that from a forward's perspective, defenseman, a head coach's perspective as well. And then I'll tie that into, now you've seen analytics come in as well. So certainly, while I don't profess to be an expert with it, I like to think I have a working understanding and, what truly matters in the game, or what happens with more regularity, what's more dangerous in another situation. And then again, just tying it back into the human element. So with that recipe, I mean, you're going to have a guy like Stuart Skinner, who has a different technical foundation or different recipe than a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury would.
Right. Yeah. And I find this interesting for a couple reasons. And you said something there in terms of understanding. I would suggest to you, and I've done a show in Edmonton now for the last, 24 years. We've done the Oilers now or Oilers Lunch for the last 17 years. And I would say, I would concede the position that I probably have the least fundamental understanding of is goaltending. Like I played with Godowski, growing up, and I was a guy as a forward that would skate by the goalie if he gave up the second rebound and said, you got to have that one too. Like, that's just like, I'm kind of from that school. Just stop the damn puck and I don't want to hear about it. Right. Like, it's, I like the goaltenders that never show up their teammates. That's a big thing for me. I hate the guys that roll their eyes or give stink eyes. But I also know so I don't profess to have the greatest knowledge of goaltending, and I would concede on that. I think there's a little bit of voodoo when it comes to trying to predict who's going to be a successful goaltender and who isn't. And I think if you look at where goalies get drafted, that's probably a sign. Just like in the NFL, maybe for different reasons, but in the NFL they don't draft a lot of running backs in the first round, but that's often because by the time they get there, the best running backs had already had too many hits on them. In the NHL, they've moved away from. I think Sebastian Cossa was the last goalie that was drafted, in the top 15 of the draft. But the one thing that I do know about goalies, Peter, I'd like to ask you about this because it's important when we reference Stuart Skinner. I think goalies are like wine; they get better with age. Why do you think that's the case?
I think a big part of that is they need a well-rounded game. And again, it's not to downplay like defensemen or forwards, but again, using an American League call-up, if you're a forward, you can probably play reduced minutes, or perhaps if you're at home, you get the matchup that you're looking for, or maybe for a young D. Whereas the goalie hopping into that situation, he's playing the full 60 minutes, and it's going to be a little bit harder to insulate him. That guy's going to need to be out there on the 4v5 PK. He's going to need to be out there on the 3v5 PK, and that's probably not a situation that a young call-up would be getting themselves put into if they played another position besides goal. So I just think the value of having a well-rounded game, it's just going to take maybe a little bit longer than some other positions. And as I say that, let me talk about the other side of my mouth too, is there are goalies who come up and they are really good and you can play at a younger age. But again, it's having that well-rounded game where if it's not, we're going to see that deficiency probably a little bit sooner. That deficiency will be exposed perhaps maybe than that of the defenseman or forward being put in similar situations.
How are you at handling the puck when you played?
Was I handling the puck? I'd say it was fine. Serviceable for sure. Make the simple, smart play.
I remember watching Jason Mazzotti played at Michigan State. He was a late first-round pick, early second-round pick, and they'd play the Golden Bears, and he could handle the puck better than three of the guys in the Golden Bears D. Like, he was just exceptional. And I bring this up because the question I have for you, Peter, is can a goaltender get better handling the puck with age? What do you think? Is it something that you have early at a younger age, or is it something because when I watch Stuart Skinner, and again, I'm not professing to be an expert in goaltending, I'm just supposed to be the guy as a color guy who's seen Stuart play every game he's played in the NHL, saying he should have had that one or that can't happen in that sequence. Of course, we all know there's usually three mistakes made prior to the puck going into the net, and only the last one ever gets sort of criticized on the goalie. But can a 26-year-old guy improve his puck handling? Can he improve his glove hand, which is another area that some of the opposition teams seem to target with Stuart Skinner? Where's your headspace at with that?
Yeah, so a couple things there. I guess first of all, just like as a value of mine, I believe we're always in some stage of development, regardless where guys are in their careers. And for the particular puck handling, improving that, no doubt. I'd actually probably say that's one where there might even be more room simply because, again, you might cringe or others. While it's important, the puck handling, it's not as important as stopping the puck. So, again, just so far as where guys are spending time working on their game, it's about keeping the puck out of the net. Now, yes, a good clean breakout or pass to the D is going to help get the puck out of the zone and stuff. So I could certainly see in goalie world or goalie camp where there might not be as much focus on puck handling because we're working on stopping the thing first of all, whereas the puck handling might be maybe not totally fair to say, might be a little bit more of a cherry on top. So, but I certainly do. I mean, Corey Crawford, I think, is a great example of that. If you look where he was earlier in his career in puck handling, and then the second half of his career, he was flat out elite with it. And again, the decision making, it's not just about a physical capacity being able to do that. It's about combining that with the decision, the hockey sense part of it, and then making that smart, efficient play.
How important is it for goalies to compete?
I think it's, again, a lot of these things, I think it's important for all positions. You know, you mentioned you don't love goalies like rolling their eyes or whatnot. I don't think anyone loves if teammates do that, you know? So, yeah, I mean, as far as being a competitor, I think that starts right away in their processing. It starts through their eyes. It's not, a last-minute thing where we're in a tough spot. Now we got to start competing. I think it starts before the, you know, as the play's entering the zone. Yeah, so of course that's quite important.
I have one final question for you, and I have to do it because you brought it up in a private conversation we had early last week. How on earth did you survive a year with Jack Michaels up in Alaska? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's keep in mind I was doing the blue paint. Jack was way up top, so that's quite a distance between us there. So that was survivable for sure. No, Jack's been great. Jack's been great.
Did you not win it that year? Was Gomez not on the team that year? And I think Chris Menard was there. Charles Langlet was there.
Yeah. Davis Payne was our head coach. We actually had Keith McCambridge was on that team as well. Yeah, very good team. We actually lost in Game 7 of the conference finals to Trenton, who had won the whole thing. So, yeah, we had a nice team. Yeah, Scott Gomez playing for his hometown team in Anchorage, and that was awesome. He got hurt in the playoffs. Tough injury there, and, you know, we really wanted to just win it because we were a good team. As much as he helped, we were still a good team without him. And, yeah, tough bounce in Game 7. That's how it went. But, yeah, it was a wonderful experience. We had great owners up there. It was a real neat city. Yeah, great time in my life for sure.
We've referenced this before over the years. Chris McNard was the player when Jeff Kugel went nuts. He was a 6'8" kid in the OHL. He chased Menard around the ice. And I remember talking to Chris, like, in Western Canada, that's why you have the stick. You turn around and you club him right across the head if you have to. I mean, Kugel got kicked out of the league as a result. It was just the absolute worst thing for David Branch to deal with. But it was because Menard was a very good minor pro player back in the day. Peter, I say this sincerely. I wish you nothing but the best of success, because there's no way to underscore the importance of the position. We talk about goals saved above expectation. You referenced analytics. I know that's part of the puzzle that you're going to be looking at. I think there's a lot of fans excited. Maybe it was time for a different voice, and we're going to see that come to fruition here. And I look forward to seeing you on the plane and during the course of the season this year.
No, well, thanks a bunch, Bob. Yeah, certainly grateful and excited and ready to do my part.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Peter. That is Peter Aubry. He's the new goaltender coach for the Edmonton Oilers.